Hello, folks, and welcome to episode 4 of STARBAT of 2466. I'm John from Sharp Mountain Games, and we're going to get started right after the intro. Hi, folks, and welcome to Sharp Mountain Games. Here we talk about group role-playing games, solo role-playing games, and there are plenty of actual plays in the playlist. You can check out our print and PDF products at Amazon, Lulu, Drive-Thru, and Roll20, and they're all linked below. Let's get started, and we're glad you're here. So thanks for joining us. Today we're playing STARBAT of 2466, who is a superhero in the future, Bat inspired, and we're using Streamlined Superheroes, and you can get the PDF on Drive-Thru if you like a digital copy, and you can get a print copy on Amazon. It's all linked below. And we're also going to be using a little bit of the rules from Sharp Mountain Solo, which is also available on Drive-Thru. That's pay what you want. I also want to give a little plug here. I used Karsten Rosner's solo RPG framework and toolbox Space Opera to roll up the initial encounter that we're going to have here, the initial thing that's going. And I was surprised. I rolled it and it was like, oh gosh, I can really make that fit. You know, it wasn't like I had to stretch or anything. So it's a great product and it's pretty cheap, pretty reasonable on Amazon. Now, this is obviously a futuristic bat-inspired superhero, and it is in partly inspired by the Bat of Fall Crest by Solo Spelunking and the Shadow of Alnor by Tabletop Wanderer. So those are great videos to check out. Now, they're more medieval superheroes. Excuse me. What I'm doing is taking it into the future. So today I'll be playing Wayne Robbins, who is the STARBAT. And let me give you the recap. And last episode or last issue, if you want to think about it like a comic book, there was a temporal disturbance, and he had to fight a mammoth that came through this temporal disturbance. And along with that temporal disturbance, came two other superheroes from the past. So people he knows as historical heroes, you know, maybe people who were his hero growing up. The Quantum Cat and Rocky Robertson. And Quantum Cat is kind of a quantum superhero, has quantum leap sort of powers. And Rocky is sort of like the Thing, but he was a former football player. Now, they're trying to find out what caused this temporal disturbance at the university laboratory at Sharp Mountain University. And the problem was that they think that the signal came from somewhere nearby in Sharp Mountain City, somewhere down by the Star Docks. But they went and they asked an informant of STARBAT's, or someone that STARBAT kind of leans on, a middleman, and he didn't know anything. At least he claimed he didn't know anything. So there was sort of a dead end there. So what we have to do now is, move forward in a different direction. And he's going to be able to do that, no problem. So get my dice handy. And if you want to play along, you can, like I said, you can get Sharp Mountain Solo for free. Streamlined Superheroes for very reasonable in print or PDF. I think it's pretty reasonable. But you can also just use your own system. That's fine. Don't use something that you already own or you're already comfortable with. Absolutely no problem. And you can even play through this scenario. Absolutely. And you say, well, I already know, what's going to happen. No, you don't. The dice are going to do something different. All right, so let's get going. So he has a contact that he thinks might be able to give him a lead. So, he's not sure where she is, and I think he's going to burn his advantage on this because he really wants to find her on this. He gets 2 advantages per day. So we're going to take that away. So he is using his, I'm going to say his sneaking and thievery to try to sneak up on his contact. And he only needs a 7 or better. He needs a 7 or better. Does he get that? Yeah, he gets an 8. Whoo, it's good we use that advantage. He would not be able to do that, or I would not be able to do that. So I sneak up and I find, on a rooftop in an alleyway, the stray cat, who is a woman, former jewel thief. She claims that she's former. I'll show you the cat and the bat there. She claims that she's former, and she's helped him before on one other mission. But he doesn't know, is she reformed, or was that just a ruse to keep him off her trail? So he says, stray cat, we need your help, is what I say to her. And she says, what? What do you mean you need my help? I say, well, I have these other two superheroes and we need to get them back in time. Someone is messing around with the time disturbance. He said, is there any way, anything that you could, any way that you'd be able to help me? So, of course, she says, well, what's in it for me? And I say to her, well, then I continue to think that you're trying to be on the right side of the law. That seems like a pretty good deal. She says, yeah, I think you're right on that. So she says, well, I think I really might be able to help you. She said, I've been noticing, and that's what I've been watching here now. There is an robot, an android, and he is smuggling and selling things. He seems to be, I suspect that he gets things from off-world, and he kind of acts as a middleman. And he's an independent robot, but I think what really works here is that nobody believes him, or nobody looks at him twice. Nobody notices a robot. So he's like the perfect person to bring things in and to bring things around. And I say, well, wonderful. Let's try and surveil him. He said, we'll go back and we'll tell the others. So what they're going to do is they are going to try to notice this robot. And she says, I know his patterns. They're not, he's been delivering to a certain place here, from what I understand, very, very regularly. She said, but we'll have to follow him very closely and carefully tonight. So let's see how we're going to do this. He's going to go back, or I'm going to go back. I'm having trouble with the third person thing. And the robot thing was the robot smuggler was the random thing that I got from the solo RPG Framebox toolkit. And like I said, I think it just worked out perfectly for what I needed. So I tell the others, we have a lead. We're going to try and follow this person. So what I'm going to have them do is, they'll all join him up on the roof here. Superheroes love to climb on roofs and things like that. And I think what's going to happen here is that Quantum Cat, who is our superhero from the past, he'd really like to get back to the past, but he's not there yet. He has quantum field tracking at D6. So in Streamlined Superheroes, you roll your D20 and add your bonus, same as any standard D20 games. I did it that way, in case people want to try to convince people to, play a different game, for heaven's sakes. Get out of the dungeons, and one particular dungeon game in particular. There's other games out there. So let's give a roll here, enough of my soapbox, and see how it works. 11, and you just need greater than 10. Now 5. So that's not an exceptional success, but he does get an excess. So they see this robot go by, and he puts a tracker thing on him. So they will be able to follow him through the quantum field tracking. And he tells, yeah, I've got him through the quantum fields. I can see his disturbances as it moves through the quantum fields. So they are going to follow him. I'm just making some notes here on hit points. I haven't really had a chance to do any healing, but maybe we'll take care of that. We'll see where things go. So they follow him, and he goes to a very shady area. And this is more of a medieval thing, but they see him go down some stairs here, and we'll say there's a door at the bottom, and he knocks, and he's let in that door. They watch all this. Now, what I'm going to say is, let's do a roll to see if they're quiet enough. So this would be sneaking thievery. So STARBAT needs 7 or better. Let's see. Stray Cat only needs a 5 or better. Okay, so she's good. He failed. So he must have made a little bit of noise. And let's see how Quantum Cat and Rocky do. We'll say, we'll use their dexterity on this. They don't really have any special powers that would help them in that way. Okay, so Rocky is a 9 plus 1, so that's a 10. Yeah, so 3 out of the 4 succeeded, so I'll use kind of the certain game rule that if more than half succeed, they're fine. So they are able to sneak up. And she says, let me see if I can slip in and see what's going on, Stray Cat says. So she's going to try and get a further peek to see what's going on in here. It's not a really big room, but it'll have to do. So she only needs a 5 or better. So this is on the Sharp Mount Solo. Oh, look at that. So that's an exceptional success. If you get a 10 or better, it's considered an exceptional success. In combat, that does double damage. And I know you might say, well, which rule set are you using? I'm kind of mixing two. So Sharp Mount Solo only uses D6s, whereas Streamlined Superheroes uses all the dice. Streamlined Superheroes is better for like high-powered superheroes. Sharp Mount Solo is better for more, or is fine for more standard role-playing games. You know, more human-powered or human-scale folks. So she is able to come back and she said, yes, it's strange in there. He went in and he made his transfer. But in there are, let's say, 5 beings. And it's the oddest thing. They're dressed like medieval knights. And there's all this electronics equipment in there. That's the strangest thing of all. You know, I don't know what they'd be doing with all that electronics equipment. And I tell her, oh, we know what they're doing. Some kind of temporal disruptions. Well, I think we have to go in and stop this. Luckily, we're a big group now. We should be great. So I'm going to say that Rocky will probably want to break down the door there. And his strength is a +3, and he has super strength at D12. So let's see how he does. A 2. A 2. He bangs on the door, so they are not able to get the surprise. Now, I'm going to say he does get it on the second try. I'm not going to worry about a roll there. But there's no way they're going to get the drop on them with that. So Rocky barrels into the room. Everybody else follows him. And myself as Wayne Robbins, the STARBAT of 2466, says, you fiends, stop what you're doing and surrender. But they do not. Now, oddly enough, they're all dressed as knights. And they have these swords with them, and the swords are glowing. And I don't know whether they're people or whether they're robots or what's going on. So there was no chance for the initiative. I got to roll a D6 rather. 1, 2, 3 is in our favor. 4, 5, 6, they go first. 4, 5, 6, they go first. Probably with all that noise, what are you going to do? Now, they need a 7 or better, and there are 5 of them. So let's see. So we'll just go around. I'll say 2 are going to go after Rocky and everybody else. So those swords of theirs glow almost like with a lightsaber, but they use them to zap across the room. So let's do Quantum Cat and STARBAT first, the ones attacking them. STARBAT's in the blue. And they need a 7 or better. So they hit STARBAT, but missed Quantum Cat. And STARBAT took a hit before, too. So that's what's going on there. Then we'll do, let's see, the cat. The stray cat gets missed. So she, acrobatically leaps out of the way. And I should have the other robot in there, the one who was the smuggler. And then the other 2 are going to go after Rocky. They need a 7 or better. So let's see if either of them hit. 6. Oh, no, and 2. Okay, good. That's pretty good. However, there's a complication. And that's going to require 3 successes. This one here, who was the smuggler, he's also in the room. Now, he's not attacking. He flips a switch, and these machinery starts to hum. And I say, he might have set it on self-destruct. We've got to do something. Okay, hero's turn. So Quantum Cat is going to quantum leap over. And that's just his move action, so I'm not going to worry about rolling for that. But he is a physics person, so he's going to see if he can do anything to shut down this computer. Now, it's a futuristic computer, but maybe he still has some luck. Let's see. So I'm going to give him with the D8 here, and that's going to be his action. No, No success this round. All right, so STARBAT, who has used up all his luck. Now, Stray Cat has not. She still has 2 advantage rolls here. He is going for an attack here. Needs a 6 or better on close combat. Oh, and that's good because that's a 10. Because that is 2 hits on that first night there. And there are 5 of them. I got to make a note of that. So he got that exceptional success to hit him. And Rocky just, kind of flexes. And he is going to barrel into another one here with his D12. So 6 or better, he gets an exceptional success if he succeeds. 8, but his strength is +3, so that's 11. 2 is not an exceptional success, but he at least does some damage on the one there. Okay, then let's see. Cat is she's gonna use her climbing claws and try and rake across there, and she is going to use her advantage here. So let's see. 7 is high enough to hit. It's not exceptional. But she does rake into the one. So I think all of the heroes have gone. So it's time now for the bad guys to go. So we've got some team-ups going on here. We've got 2 on Rocky. We know that. And I'd say this one's going to move in on Cat. All right, so let's do STARBAT first. Does he get hit? No. Does Rocky get hit? Oh, yes, he gets hit pretty badly, in fact. Now, he has extra hit points because of his armor. So 10 and 11, those are exceptional hits. Yeah, he gets whacked here. It's a good thing he has some little extra padding. Like I said, I'm kind of mixing and matching the rule sets here, but you can use either one that you like if you want to buy them or get them for free, the Sharp Mount Solo for free, or use another rule set, please. Feel free. All right, the one's going after the cat. Hits the cat. Oh, she says. That's not a nice way to treat a lady. And the other goes after Quantum Cat, but misses. Okay, top of the batting order. And I'll just go in order here. Quantum Cat did not have much luck with that computer. He's got to start having some luck or we're going to have some problems here. All right, so STARBAT goes after and misses that particular armored knight there with the glowing sword. Rocky is going to try to, now let's see. He's got football here. So I'm going to try something different there. He's going to maybe try like a rush and try and like tackle them both, like plow through them. I don't know a lot about football terminology, so, whatever. You got to take my word for it. Oh, it doesn't matter. 2. No good. No good. Okay, then the Quantum Cat, he is still going to try. I think he's going to just try and take he hasn't taken any hits here yet. He is still trying to disarm that and stop that computer from either blowing up or erasing all the data. No successes yet. So they may have some troubles here. They may have to turn to some a different avenue to see what they can do. Let's see. So we've had 2 rounds and no successes yet. And let's see. Has everybody gone? I think all my people have gone. I don't think Stray Cat went. Does she hit? Yes, look at that. She hits very nice. Now, what's that? That's a 9, so she just does the 1 damage there. Okay, their turn again. Going after the STARBAT. Misses. Is Rocky taking a beating here? 7 and 9. Yes. Oh, I'm in a bad way, folks. I'm in a bad way. A little help. Let's see what Stray Cat can do. No, not Stray Cat. The one who's after Stray Cat. Did I get the other dice out of there? No. Yes, he hits her. Oh, she says. No, not very nice at all. And does the one hit Quantum Cat? No. All right. Back up to the top here. STARBAT goes and misses. I am having a rough day here. Let's see what Rocky can do. Yes, and the 6 is the exceptional success. So I'm going to say that he plows into both of them and does damage to both of them. So they are getting weaker. Nobody's quite out yet, but getting weaker. Now let's see what happens. Oh, and I rolled a smaller die than he needed to, but it still worked out. Let's see what Quantum Cat can do. Can he shut down this computer? Still no. He's only got 2 more rounds where he can try to do that. I kind of limited how many rounds he had. Maybe 5 was too generous, but that's what it is. Let's see what Stray Cat can do. Okay, did she get... No, bad. It's not working out. Okay, STARBAT takes a hit. He's at 3, and 5 knocks him out. Rocky is out for now. What am I going to do to indicate that he is out? I'll put a little poker chip on top of him. All right. One goes after Quantum Cat and hits, and the other hits Stray Cat. Okay, top of the batting order here. STARBAT finally hits and takes this guy out of the picture. That's what we needed. Now, let's see. Quantum Cat is still trying to shut this thing down here. And 7 plus 3. Yes, it's not an exceptional success, but at least it's a success. So I'm going to say he is able to, pull the plug and cut off the power here so that these machineries are not going to be a problem there. And let's see what Stray Cat can do. Yes. Okay. And what is that? An 8. Okay, so that's 2 out of the picture. And that's pretty good because now we've got 3 heroes up and 3 bad guys. And like I said, the one who is the smuggler, in fact, he's trying to make for the door. He's kind of trying to get out of this basement workshop here. So let's see what our STARBAT can do. Yes, finally, we're getting some numbers here. He takes that other one out. Quantum Cat. Now, Quantum Cat is using, let's see, he has a quantum leap. So maybe he's going to try to quantum leap and knock this guy down. Let's see. I've got only 2 remaining. I don't think that one's taking any damage. So hopefully if he does really well, he does hit him. Doesn't do, I would say, really well, but he does hit him. And let's have the Stray Cat go. Yes, 9. Okay, that's not an exceptional success, but it's a success nonetheless. She claws into them. Now they're going to get to go against Stray Cat and Quantum Cat. Quantum Cat will be the blue because that's his color. All right, Stray Cat takes some damage there. But now it's the hero's turn. So STARBAT rushes over and is going to try to help here. Okay, takes that one down. Now they're Cat and Quantum Cat are going to Quantum Cat's going to try his leap here. So let's see, his quantum leap is a D10. Just got to make sure I'm grabbing the right dice here. 17 and 4, so he does a bit of damage to him. And let's see if Stray Cat can end this. Nope, can't end it this round. It gets another shot. And that's a successful shot. So we're going to use our 1, 2, 3. And I have a 3-sided die here. You could just use a 6 too. 1, STARBAT takes the hit. Ugh. He says, and this gets him mad, so he is just raring to punch this guy. His close combat is 6. Does he do it? Yes. Not exceptional, but enough to take him out anyway. So they shut down this machinery, and he rushes over and says, "Oh, how about your friend here?" So now, this is superhero logic. You know what happens in the superhero comics. They get knocked out, and then they go and they get patched up. So he's gonna try to just revive him, and Rocky is all groggy. Oh, with those swords, they were tougher. What are they, people? What's going on here? So Stray Cat can't resist. She goes over and she tries to peel up the helmet, and she gets all these sparks as she tries to lift, I guess, the visor, whatever you would call the front of the faceplate of the helmet. They're robots, she said. They're robots of some kind. And now Quantum Cat says, well, maybe I can get something out of this computer. So he's stopped it from sparking and all that. So he's going to try and make a physics roll. We'll say that's with his intelligence. What's his physics? D8. Now, again, these are futuristic computers, but maybe he can get something out of that. Let's see what he can get out. No, he's not getting any information. He says, I just don't think, I don't think I can get anything out of this. And STARBAT says, well, let's see if I can take the hard drive with me, or whatever their equivalent is of the hard drive. So I'm going to say that's a detective role. Now, he's a very good detective. So he would be maybe familiar with this, maybe know what the hard drive was. And let's see what he needs. A 5 or better. Oh, 5. Look at that. Barely. I am rolling terrible. So STARBAT is able to get, he says, I think this is the processor. He says, and I have somebody who can help with this. This guy here, I think in the confusion, he would have run away. I really do. I mean, I've been so distracted anyway. I'll assume my heroes were so distracted that he just runs away to smuggle and sell illegal temporal technology another day. So they're going to have to go back and get some information. And Stray Cat, she's been, she was damaged a little bit, and she says, well, I think it sounds like this is a bigger process than me. She said, I'll be taking my leave. And she slips out. Nobody tries to stop her. She was very helpful for them in this fight. And STARBAT says, I'll have to call the police. They'll have to come here and shut this down. I'll have to contact the commissioner. But we've got to take this back. He says to me, I have somebody who can help. So they leave here, and they head out in the STARBAT mobile. I don't have a STARBAT mobile yet. I only have a regular vintage Batmobile. And they head back to the cave with this hard drive. Now, I think at this point, I would be definitely trusting them and would bring them back to the cave. So they go back to STARBAT cave, which I always kind of just make from a few dominoes here. And if you want to play along at home, you don't need miniatures and dominoes and all that. All you need is a piece of paper to work, and your dice, to record some things, and maybe some character cards or some character notes. But, for the video, you want to make it look at least a little pretty. So he brings it back to AI Fred, who is his robotic butler and confidant. But because he's AI, he's really, really good at things. So AI Fred is going to get to do 2 analyses here. And I'm going to say he needs a 5 or better. He's AI, so computer stuff would be his best, in his best interest. And let's see how he does. And let's see, did we get 1 or 2 successes? 5, yep. And 6, 2 bare successes. So what he finds out is he says, oh, yes, they were definitely using temporal technology, and, it's powered by magnetism. Somehow that it's accessing magnetic fluctuations. But, what I think I have that's most important is the next lead. I think you need to know, who is behind all this and who programmed them. And STARBAT says, I think I have a pretty good idea. Somebody's messing around with time. And, but do you know where this would be? And AI Fred says, yes, I have a lead, but it's a little bit far afield for you. You'll have to be doing a little bit of traveling to get there. And STARBAT says to him, well, are you up for this? And Rocky says, well, we're going to see this through to the end, and then hopefully we can get back to our own time frame, our own time zone. Well, AI Fred, where would all these magnetic disturbances be? That would I must be planning something big here if he was disturbing the one at the university. And AI Fred says, yes, he said they were getting transmissions to this computer. They were getting their orders, their marching orders, and where it seems to be emanating from is the magnetic fields inside Jupiter. And STARBAT says, Jupiter, that is far afield. And Quantum Cat says, well, I can't quantum leap us to Jupiter. I think that's sort of a problem. And STARBAT says, no problem. He says, I can get us there. I can get a rocket, a spacecraft, and get us there. He said, you may not know this, but in my alter ego, he said, I'm a trillionaire, so I have many resources we can access. He says to AI Fred, can you set that up? He said, I'm going to get us ready and get us spacesuits for oxygen, and then we're going to head off and we're going to nip this thing in the bud. We're going to take care of it. And Quantum Cat is thinking to himself, yeah, and I hope so, because he really wants to get back to his home time. And I think I kind of read all this and tell him, yes, and as soon as this is over, hopefully they'll have the time machine repaired at the university and we can send you back. And I think that's where we're going to end it for today. And I hope to see you again next time. I hope you had a good time. And most importantly, I hope you try some solo role playing on your own. Use whatever system you like. And we'll see you later. Thanks for watching.